Walk into any British transport cafe in the 1970s, mention which engine was best, and you could start an argument that lasted all night. On one side, the Gardner, the frugal Manchester legend that sipped fuel and ran forever. On the other, the Rolls-Royce Eagle, the powerful newcomer carrying the most famous name in British engineering. Drivers wanted one thing, mechanics wanted another, and the men paying the bills wanted something else entirely. This is the story of the engine war that split British truckers, Eagle versus Gardner, and why there was never one simple answer. L. Gardner and Sons of Manchester operated out of the Patricroft Works, a plant established in 1899 that became the absolute standard bearer of British diesel engineering. By the late 1960s, the company had cemented its reputation not with flashiness, but with the LX engine series. The 6LXB, introduced in 1968, was the emblem of this hand-finished, high-precision approach. These engines were built with such tight tolerances that serious warranty claims were virtually unheard of in Patricroft. To fleet operators, a Gardner was a financial dream. Its extraordinary fuel economy and near indestructibility meant trucks spent their time on the road, not in the workshop, routinely achieving hundreds of thousands of miles between overhauls. This reliability was so absolute that by the mid-1980s, Gardner powered nearly 90% of British-made buses and held a massive share of the heavy truck market. Yet the very conservatism that made the 6LXB legendary also created its single, glaring vulnerability. It was naturally aspirated, extracting maximum economy but capping outright power. In automotive tune, the 10.45-litre unit maxed out at just 180 horsepower. As British motorways expanded and payloads grew, that speed limit opened the door for a powerful rival. In July 1966, Rolls-Royce launched the Eagle diesel engine range, pitching the ultimate name in British engineering directly into the heavy haulage market. Produced at the Shrewsbury plant, which employed 1,000 personnel across a massive 718,000 square foot facility, this new family of six-cylinder engines offered the muscle that motorway-era operators wanted. While Gardner remained fiercely committed to its naturally aspirated low-speed philosophy, Rolls-Royce designed the Eagle for outright speed and power. The Eagle range entered the market with power ratings spanning from 205 to 300 horsepower, quickly finding early adoption with British truck builders like ERF. It was a massive leap over Gardner's 180 horsepower ceiling, designed specifically to pull heavy payloads over demanding climbs without dropping to a crawl. Shrewsbury's engineers aimed to translate the brand's global prestige into road-going credibility, betting that operators would pay for faster transit times. This bold move transformed the quiet world of British trucking into a direct contest. Fleet owners now faced a stark choice. Do they stick with the patient, ultra-frugal dependability of a Manchester-built Gardner, or do they invest in the high-horsepower promise of a Rolls-Royce? With Cummins also applying competitive pressure from America, the arrival of the Eagle forced an industry-wide debate. It was no longer just about moving goods, it was a battle between pure power and strict economy. Out on the tarmac, drivers settled the debate not with fuel sheets but by the seat of their pants. For the man behind the wheel, horsepower was more than a number on a spec sheet. It was the difference between getting home for tea or spending another cold night in a cab. On the brutal, grinding climbs of Shap and Beatock, the rivalry became personal. A Gardner 6LXB meant a patient, steady crawl, dropping down through the gears while watching the temperature gauge rise. It was a rhythmic, reliable slog, but it was slow. The Rolls-Royce Eagle offered a completely different world. With up to 300 horsepower under the floorboards, a driver could plant his foot and press on. The Eagle conquered hills with ease, maintained road speed, and shrunk the long miles between transport cafés. For the driver, raw performance was king. A faster run meant a shorter working day, and that emotional pull often outweighed any arguments about workshop costs. Once a truck rolled off the highway and into the depot, a very different jury delivered its verdict. For workshop mechanics, the Rolls-Royce Eagle was a highly divisive piece of machinery. Its modular design earned points for serviceability, offering straightforward access to key components during routine maintenance. But the Eagle was notoriously wet. Fitters cursed its tendency to weep oil from places that did not even seem to have joints. A flaw often blamed on a complex internal oil gallery inside the sump that relied on short pipes and double O-rings. Combine that with a stubborn refusal to start on freezing winter mornings, and the Eagle tested many a mechanic's patience. Across the workshop floor, a Gardner engine commanded absolute respect for its beautiful hand-finished construction, yet it offered no shortcuts. Patricroft's reputation for precision meant working with incredibly tight tolerances. Standard jobs like valve lash adjustments demanded extreme care, leaving no room for error. In the greasy reality of the garage, serviceability and trust remained two separate virtues. The fleet operator settled the engine debate directly on the pages of the company ledger. In an industry run on razor-thin margins, survival dictated every specification. While drivers clamoured for the high horsepower thrill of the Rolls-Royce Eagle to make their journeys easier, the transport manager focused entirely on long-term running costs over hundreds of thousands of miles. This was where Gardner's relentless engineering design paid off. The naturally aspirated 6LXB operated at an extraordinary specific fuel consumption of 0.330 pounds per brake horsepower hour, reaching nearly 40% thermal efficiency. A Rolls-Royce Eagle might conquer the long northern climbs 20 minutes faster, but that speed demanded a heavy fuel burn that eroded profitability with every single highway mile. Though a Gardner-powered truck required a higher purchase price and climbed hills at a slower, patient pace, its legendary fuel thrift and near-total lack of unscheduled downtime saved hauliers a fortune. For fleet owners, the business math was absolute. They routinely overruled their drivers' pleas for raw speed, choosing instead the quiet Manchester-built engine that guaranteed a healthy return. In the cold light of balance sheets, economy conquered power. On February 4th, 1971, Rolls-Royce collapsed into voluntary receivership, a corporate crisis triggered by its aviation division that threatened to drag down the entire company. While the government nationalised the aero engine business, the diesel division at Shrewsbury continued production. Suddenly looking for a new path forward, during the post-receivership chaos, L. Gardner and Sons had the opportunity to reshape British trucking. Rumours persisted that Hugh Gardner, the fiercely conservative chairman at Patricroft, was offered the chance to buy Rolls-Royce's commercial engine business. He turned it down. Gardner had guided the Manchester firm with an uncompromising hand since starting as an apprentice in 1921. He prioritised absolute mechanical reliability, famously resisting the industry shift toward turbocharging. To Gardner, forced induction was a dangerous complication that threatened the legendary lifespan of his hand-built engines. His refusal to adapt created a vulnerability. Throughout the 1970s, as payloads grew and highway speeds increased, naturally aspirated Gardners began losing ground. Cummins aggressively marketed turbocharged diesels to British fleets, while Rolls-Royce continued to extract higher horsepower from the Eagle range. By the time Patricroft finally relented and built its first turbocharged road engine, the 6LXCT, in 1981, the market had moved on. The boardroom conservatism that once guaranteed quality had quietly opened the door for rivals to capture the future of British transport. The transport cafe debate never truly ended because both engineering philosophies won. Today, heavy haulage still balances Gardner's relentless efficiency against the Eagle's raw power. We release a new video every 3 days. Subscribe now for more untold transport histories.